Hey guys, today I am reacting to the animated history of the Netherlands. Let's get into it. Should be interesting. And if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be really appreciated. Thank you so much.
This episode is supported by Audible. Amazon Prime members can get an incredible 66% off their first 3 months at audible.com/SUIBHNE, only available for a limited time, so sign up fast.
Die moerassige en riviergevouwde lage landen was een onbevolkt gebied onder het Heilige Roomse Rijk, waar zij goed werden het bouwen van dijken, kanalen en windmolens om water uit hun land te pompen, en één Europa's handelscentrum en één broodman te creëren. Die vroege Nederlanders werden beroemd om handel, scheepsbouw en hydro-engineering, en de Frankische taal die daar werd gesproken begon te evolueren naar de Nederlandse taal, of de taal van het Lage Land. En dus waren de Nederlanders geboren.
And I could kind of understand that a little bit, Pretty interesting. I feel like Dutch is a bit easier to read the English rather than when you hear it though.
Feudalism held sway in the land, and as the trade increased, the cities of Amsterdam, Brugge, and Antwerpen prospered, and soon these trading posts became more and more integrated into the Hanseatic League, a sort of trade agreement in the North Sea after the Viking raids had ceased. Through both conquest and inheritance, the Dutch counties came under the control of the House of Burgundy, who then passed it on to the Austrian House of Habsburg. They pulled the Netherlands out of the Hanseatic League and then took over control of trade themselves. This is known as the era of the 17 provinces. But by this point, the merchants had begun to embrace Calvinist Protestantism. This led to the Dutch Revolt, also known as the 80 Years' War, also known as the Dutch War for Independence. The war was a complex mix of secular, religious, and mercantile motives, but saw the northern provinces unite in the Treaty of Utrecht against the Spanish Union of Arras. The Spanish marched north though and managed to take back most of the south. In 1581, the United Provinces declared themselves free and independent, and the war became about securing that declaration. During the war, the Protestants in the south fled to the north, and the French Calvinists, called the Huguenots, followed suit, making Netherlands a firmly Protestant-controlled nation. And in 1588 became a confederated republic because they couldn't really find a good king. Instead, they instituted the stadholders with the House of Orange-Nassau, but only with the province's approval. The Dutch were very good at two things by this point: water and money. So they combined them and formed the Verenigde Oost-Indische Company to begin trade in the Indian Ocean. The Dutch revolt overlapped with the broader 30 Years' War, in which Spain was defeated and finally recognized as independent in the Peace of Westphalia. Jewish settlement increased as the tolerance of the new republic was appealing to the persecuted Sephardic Jews, as well as
like from Iberia, Spain, Portugal, many of them went to the Netherlands.
Growth in the small community of Ashkenazi Jews. The VOC brought immense wealth to the Dutch Republic, revolutionizing modern banking and finance. Dutch citizens enjoyed shares in the company, helping spread the wealth more evenly. This fueled the Dutch golden ages of art, architecture, and building of universities, making huge strides in science and medicine. The VOC dominated trade for half a century, founding trade colonies all over the world. It wasn't all rainbows and sunshine. The VOC operated with little to no oversight and were often very violent and engaged heavily in the slave trade. They eventually lost this dominance to the English, but their legacy as engineers and shipbuilders and financiers.
And they left Jakarta, the capital of Indonesia, in a bit of a bad state when they left.
As continued to spur growth. This became aggravated by Dutch merchants lending money to foreign powers, thereby protecting and growing their own wealth, which simultaneously stagnated the economy in the Netherlands.
Even today, the Netherlands is a bit of a tax haven,
while propping up foreign nations. But, that's capitalism for you. The decline in prosperity and the devastating Anglo-Dutch wars soon made them prime targets for French revolutionaries overthrew the
I like Napoleon.
Dutch and created the Batavian Republic, then a monarchy under Napoleon's brother before final annexation into the French Empire, including the southern Netherlands. When Napoleon was defeated, the Congress of Vienna created the United Kingdom of the Netherlands, merging with the southern Netherlands to create a buffer state between France and the German states. William I of the House of Orange was made king. However, it was pretty short-lived because the southern Netherlands was almost all Catholic, and the French language was far more important there. The South fought an independence war and broke away from the Dutch, forming the nation of Belgium. The Dutch returned to their economic ways and were decidedly neutral during the First World War. After the chaos died down, they found themselves battling the Great Depression mostly by furthering trade with their colonies in Suriname and the Dutch East Indies. This was halted during the Second World War, in which the Netherlands was invaded to bypass the Maginot Line. The small country fell to the Germans and its Jewish population were deported and killed in the Holocaust. Rotterdam, the second largest city and major trade port, was firebombed and completely destroyed by the Luftwaffe.
Damn, that's sad.
The Dutch East Indies was lost to Japan in 1942.
Operation Market Garden was part of a larger strategy to cross the Rhine River to advance into the northern Netherlands and northern Germany, but it was deadlock and they ultimately failed to capture the crossing at Arnhem in September of 1944. Instead, the troops would concentrate on Wesel and Ries on the Rhine to liberate the Netherlands, punching a deep hole through German territory and invading from the east. This incredible military achievement saw the greatest paratrooper landing in history, with more than 1.2 million allies involved, a massive success for the allies who were able to advance around the Dutch choke point. You can learn more about this real-world event in the incredible audiobook 4 Hours of Fury by James M. Fenelon, for free for new members when you sign up for Audible, an extremely well-researched and well-documented narrative of the battle for which he had a special interest as a...
Alright, that was really interesting. The Netherlands is a really cool country. Yeah, make sure, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's check out some of the comments. Country as spices. The Dutch, you're now my property. And they always say it like, get colonists here, I think. They always say that in comment sections. But yeah, as an Indonesian creator, I'm really waiting for this content. Wait, what did I just say? As a Dutch, I can say this is semi-correct. Also, I had a stroke listening to your Dutch pronunciation. Bruh, pronunciation. Yeah. That was quick. I wasn't satisfied. I need more Dutch and Sweeney goodness. Oh yeah. Same. To be honest, I really missed the part about Michael de Ruyter and that we have beaten the British and French Navy like the raid on the Medway. Pretty epic, yeah. The Dutch are pretty epic on the seas. They like tame the ocean and the water, yeah. Yeah, the Dutch are pretty cool. And like I think they had the first stock exchange. A lot of stuff to be found in the Netherlands. Really cool and interesting place. You have forgot to mention the Canadian Army has liberated the Netherlands in World War II. The Dutch would never forget their sacrifices. Yeah, the Canadians were pretty good during World War II. That was actually the US and Britain. Canada was just sent by the US to occupy it. There is actually a fourth liberator which is almost always forgotten, Poland, who subsequently got stabbed in the back by the West and were effectively occupied by controlled by the Soviet Union until the end of communism. Unfortunate. To occupy it, yes, but it was American and British forces who first stepped into the Netherlands. Yeah. It's true. I mean, Americans, Canadians, British. Yeah, I mean, obviously the US did a lot in Europe. Yeah. What is your home language? You speak Dutch like a native Afrikaans speaker. You can clearly use English. Yeah, interesting. And what about the last 70 years with them creating Flevoland, losing Indonesia, and joining the EU? Still the spice trade. That isn't a question, but the Dutch did it anyways. If anyone is interested, there is a movie about a famous Dutch tactician in the third Anglo-Dutch War. In Dutch, it's Michael de Ruyter, but I believe the English name is Admiral. I like how you included the older borders with lakes and stuff, but the north of Friesland was poldered in way earlier than you showed, and a little bit sticking out in the northeast. Zuiderzee was a polder constructed before entering Mulder II. Now I imagine my Dutch pronunciation is terrible as well. This man just called Belgium the Southern Netherlands. For all you English folks, that's a Dutch meme. They also say that the Belgian roads are bad as well. The early Dutch became famous for the trade, shipbuilding, and the hydro-engineering. Windmills. Am I a joke to you? Windmills are hydro-engineering, to pump water out of the land so they could reclaim lands. I know, but most people think of the windmills and not their hydro-engineering purposes. Suddenly, a wild hillbird appears. English person, Netherlands. Me, a Spanish intellectual. Netherlands. Oh man, this was a funny video though, and really, really interesting for sure. Dutch have an interesting ass history, and a lot to be proud of. Cool stuff. So yeah, if you enjoyed my reaction, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.